Good evening, everyone, and Tashi Dele. First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining with us today for this wonderful and auspicious ceremony of Chötrul Düchen, the the festival of butter lamp, and um, I'm really pleased to have you today for this wonderful occasion. And before we begin this session for today, first of all, I would like to just give you a brief introduction about Chötrul Düchen. Chötrul Düchen is also known as Chonga Choepa, or the Butter Lamp Festival, is one of the 4 Buddhist festivals commemorating 4 events in the life of Buddha. According to Tibetan traditions, Chötrul Düchen closely follows Losar, the Tibetan New Year. It takes place on the 15th day of the first month in the Tibetan calendar during the full moon, which is also known as Bumgyur Dawa. The first 15 days of the year celebrate the 15 days during which the Buddha displayed miracles for his disciples so as to increase their devotion. During Chötrul Düchen, the great day of miraculous manifestation, it is believed that the effects of both positive and negative actions are multiplied 10 million times. Now, with this, on this auspicious note, I would like to welcome all the physical participants. At the same time, I would like to welcome our online participants who are joining with us today in the Zoom meeting, especially the Russian participants and the French and also Hindi. And I'm very pleased to announce that today, this time we also have Ladakhi translation as well. So we are very fortunate to have this wonderful event. And I would like to request our director, Venerable Geshe Dojit Abdullah, to begin with this session. And before that, I would like to request all of you to kindly offer 3 prostrations to Lord Buddha and to pay homage to all the Bodhisattvas and especially our Guru, Venerable Geshe Dojit Abdullah. Over to you.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Kuwachandela. I sense that you are overly excited. So this is the inspiration that we'll all draw from you. Thank you so much. And all the participants, both offline, online, as well as the translators and the coordinators for this program. And as our program coordinator, Kuwachandela, indicated, let us first offer 3 prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, particularly Bodhisattva for whom what he did, his performance of innumerable miracles on this day, to observe this activity of the Buddha to counteract the evil forces in the world and to create harmony and peace in the world. So we are engaging in this program. And likewise, we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Today, this morning, there in Dharamsala, His Holiness gave the public address, public teaching, as a part of the traditional custom that every 15th of the first month of the lunar calendar, that this day is observed as the miracle day, and on which day, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or where His Holiness is not there, then the respected teacher is requested to give teachings on the life stories, the past, many life stories of the Buddha Shakyamuni before he became enlightened. So as a commemoration of this day, we're going to let's make 3 prostrations, and then the other programs to be followed. Thank you. And all the participants, both offline and online. So here, the offline, we request all the participants to come up to offer light. So, and the online participants, if you have your own lights, to offer it and do that. If not, mentally be with us to offer lights to all Bodhisattvas. And the light symbolizes the wisdom to dispel the darkness of ignorance. Why so much of chaos? Why so much of problems is happening in the world today is all because of the ignorance. And this ignorance, say, beginning with the symbolism of often lights to dispel the darkness of ignorance. And let us physically, those who are here offline, you are requested to come physically to offer the lights, and the online participants join with us to offer the slides. Make a commitment that I'm going to ignite the light of the wisdom. I'll study more of the Dharma. I'll study more of the reality of the world, interdependent nature of the reality, and see how to in the first place, give birth to the sanity, a sense of sanity, sensibility, common sense, profound common sense within yourself. And then with this experience, share this common sense with other people, where because of the introduction of the common sense within yourself, you become a happier and happier and happy person. And then with that experience of you become a happier person, less and less stressful person, you share this wisdom with your family members first, followed by the people, your colleagues at your workplace, and to anybody who you meet with. And then people who can write books, you write books on this, sharing your wisdom with other people, and who can influence other people in any ways possible, do so. So that is what we expect to do as we offer lights in terms of your visualization, those who are not present with us physically. Okay, all the participants, physical participants, please come up to offer lights.
To shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all direction to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom.
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered mysteries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas
of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom.
With
folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom.
With folded hands,
I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom.
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered and miseries gloom.
Thank you very much, everyone. Now, may I take this very opportunity to explain about the very curriculum of today's evening session. So, first of all, we are very fortunate to be undertaking the short aspirational Bodhisattva vows, to be led by Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, the director of Tibet House, the Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And on this very special occasion today, our director, Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula, has been very kind to consider of giving a very brief overview about the very summary chart of the Nalanda Buddhist philosophy, which you can see as we have the Nalanda summary chart over there. So we are very fortunate today to have Venerable Geshe-la to be giving us the very introduction on the Nalanda summary chart, for which after we take the Aspirational Bodhisattva pledge, I would request Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula to kindly offer the lamp before he begins with the introduction on the Nalanda summary chart. So first, we'll be undertaking the Aspirational Bodhisattva pledge.
Okay, thank you, Coach Ndela. So what we do is that given that we have the two major things to be done, one is generating the consummate Buddha nature, generating the consummate mind of enlightenment, and which means taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, and then also to do a quick class on the summary chart, which was worked on which actually was published since many years ago, and which His Holiness the Dalai Lama so kindly inaugurated or blessed 2 years ago, and that the chart was published many years ago. Perhaps I think about like 2018, 19, around 2018, 19. So it's almost like 7 years that this chart was published. So, so with this in mind, okay. Seems like Dedinla and you're with Chugila, so that those who did not offer light, or let them do it. Okay, come very quick, come quick, offer lights. Those who did not offer light. Okay, so first what we do is that we do the taking the aspiration Bodhisattva about the manner in which we used to do as always. And for the online participants, I hope that there's going to be screen sharing. And for the offline, you expect to have the soft copy, the hard copy of the book with you. And let us turn to page 3. Okay, setting a proper motivation. Setting proper motivation. For this, let us visualize Buddha Shakyamuni. And today on this day, the Buddha performed innumerable miracles to counteract or to defeat the evil forces, to make sure that the world becomes more harmonious and more common sense based, more compassionate, and more inclusive. This is what for the Buddha performed miracles. And if you want to know more about this, yes, we have to read more material, study that. And today, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, as I said earlier this morning, His Holiness. Okay, some injury. Oh. No, and okay, so the hard copies of this chart, please just share among yourselves for the online participants. I'm sure that our program coordinator, they will be as dynamic, as quick as how I move. You should be able to move the chart, because online people cannot see the chart. Okay, so where I direct, you should be able to see that. You should be able to show that to the online participants. Okay, so setting proper motivation. So at the chart, it'll be a little later, not now. It'll be a little later. Okay, so with this in mind, setting proper motivation with the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, particularly the Nalanda masters, whose tradition we are holding, and then the two to awaken the seed of the profession, the seed of the total fearlessness and infinite happiness which exists within us. And meanwhile, learn how to share this wisdom with all the other dear sentient beings. So with this in mind, and let us turn to page 3. And as we read these verses and the passages, let us make sure that the meanings are reflected. If the meanings are not reflected, so whatever amount of the energy that you invest, and the time that you spend will just go in vain. But as the meanings are reflected, then the enormous benefit will be accrued, and that you see that you can actually, within the span of like few months or few years time, you see you are mentally growing richer and more calm and happier. So, and imagine that you're leading this practice and all beings are joining you, including your parents, and even if they are passed away, just include them in your visualization and imagine that you're encouraging all of them to be with us on this auspicious day, to multiply, proliferate the virtues about whatever we are engaging in. So with this in mind, let us turn to page 3 and towards the end prayers. Yes. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sanye Joda Zoge Jonam No Chanju Bado Dane Gyabzo Age Jinso Kebe Sonam Ge Jola Ben Yere Zange Jubare Sho Sanye Joda Zoge Jonam No Chanju Bado Dane
Tage jinso kibe sonam ye dola benjere sanje dubare jo sanje joda zoge chonam na chanjo bardo dane yazo che tage jinso kibe sonam ye dola benjere sanje dubare sho. I go for refuge and terminal enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and terminal enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and terminal enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mother, the hearers, the bodhisattvas, and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all leads here, which through the knowledge of past causes souls helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which help subdue as expound a variety of teachings, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector, to you are my prostrations, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha, my prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Essence of Dependent Origination Mantra. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te sham datagato hyavatat Tesham chayo nirodha evam vate mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te sham dathagato yavatat Tesham chayo nirodha evam vate mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te sham dathagato hyavatat Tesham chayo nirodha evam vate mahashramanaye svaha. Meaning of 10th Rinpoche mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the Great Seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-lighted, non-composite. Such as nectar Dharma I've discovered, finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to woods. Beyond our trends, thought and expression is a perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and in nature's space, is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I be obeisance. The forces of the Buddha's teachings, all composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are nature empty, suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness, selflessness, sensory peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly demand and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash their negative with disobedience, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. Their spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. instruction on parting from the four attachments. If you're attached to this life, you're not a spiritual practitioner. If you're attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you're attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. As we recite this, these verses and the passage, just see look at the qualities, the citations mention the qualities based on which the Buddha was praised, and see if you have some of these qualities within yourself. If you have, rejoice, and if you don't have, remember that we all have the Buddha nature. We may not have these qualities at hand yet, but we have the Buddha nature, which has the capacity to give rise to all the perfect qualities which the Buddha Shakyamuni is already endowed with. And in knowing this, try to see how to cultivate these qualities within yourself, and then once cultivated, see how to enrich them or enhance them further. So with this mind, let's just read this text. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the fourth destroyer, completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and with good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher gods in human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, and thou transcendent destroyer, complete prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth with peace, and then set them supreme in this world. To you otherwise then and prostrate, with pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom open like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the three worlds, within of the best, Lord, to you prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you prostrate. Lusty like you, the three worlds are not, incompatible wise one, to you and prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder of from attachment, the virtue that frees from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies the prostrate. With realizations who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, submit your mind thoroughly. This is a teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, say conditioned things as such. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from the samsara's ocean, perturbed by the ways of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, let us turn to page 29, Heart Sutra, and from here. Now, I request, in fact, Chavi to lead the prayers. Mike. Yeah. Yeah. Archibald, you come here. Someone Should you come here? Okay, Amitabh, please come. Okay, Heart Sutra.
The Heart Sutra, the Perfection of Wisdom, page number 29. The Heart Sutra, the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, Arya Bhagavati Pragya Paramita Hridaya Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Buddha was dwelling on mass of Vultures Mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharadvatiputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unseized, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly, completely awakened to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as the truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Teatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha, having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. This completes the Arya Bhagavati Pragyaparamita Hridaya Sutra.
Okay, we will say this mantra 5 times together. Teatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha 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 Teatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Arasamgate Bodhisvaha.
By the teachings of the three supreme jewels, possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be non-existent. May they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspiciousness and perfect happiness pervade this place now.
Page 35.
Page 35, 8 verses for training the mind by Geshe Langri Tangpala. With a determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all the hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast as space, that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. 7-limb practice, excerpt from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samantabhadra. Page 37. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri. You, the Buddha's alliance amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future. In the world of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle of Buddhas, numberless as particles, each amidst a host of bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all you Sugatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array I offer to you, victorious ones. Transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done, with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all the merit of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions, of solitary realizers, heroes in training, and of those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who've attained a Buddha's omniscience to the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request, you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings.
Okay, we will now do the short medal offering. Here, just visualize all the good things that you can think of that you possess and that the world possesses. Imagine that you're offering them to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. This ground, adorned with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha felt and operate. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajebe Ge Jo She Men Do Chang Re Ram Le She Nye De Ge Ba De Sanje Shen Do Me De Du Wa Me Do Gu Na Da Shen Ba Che Ba Ra Sho. The fourth dharmas of Venerable Kambupa.
May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four dharmas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva, becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps our true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious Bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. Page 42. The Foundation of All Good Qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again, please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karmas follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me to always be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is a door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions through wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, Please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajravehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from the perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara.
Or you will recite the maximum mantra. Kanjen kebe tsoge tsokaba dosan tabe shabla sovaye You are able with the Ishvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion. And Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, dissolved hosts of demons without exception. Songkava, crown jewel of the sage of the land of snows, Losar Traba at your feet and make prostrations. Okay, next, taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. For this first, we will do 5 minutes of shamatha meditation. 5 minutes. You ready? Okay.
Okay, next is the impermanence, reflection on the with respect to the three principal paths. The first one, renunciation. Renunciation. We do the practice based on the Buddha Shakyamuna's own teaching of the four seals. So it's going to be a very quick introduction. It's not going to be detailed meditation because we don't have much time for the main teaching on the summary chart of the Nalanda Buddhist philosophy. So for the impermanence, where the Buddha taught all composite things impermanent, the reason for this is for the people, for the beings in this world, and to be freed from suffering altogether, to stop all the tears of samsara. And looking back in time, 15 billion years ago, the beginning point of this era with respect to the point of the evolution of this visible universe, 15 billion years ago, we started from the singularity. And eventually, after 15 billion years, now today, we see innumerable numbers of the galaxies, and we're a part of the Milky Way galaxy. And in the Milky Way galaxy, we're a tiny dot, the so-called solar system. And this solar system came out of this Milky Way galaxy about like the 4 billion years ago, the 4.6 billion years ago. And then from the solar system, again, these tiny planets, they came out from the sun, and then eventually the water came into existence. And then look at this, the whole flux of change from that point 15 billion years ago till 4 billion years ago, and then the water, then unicellular organism, and today the very complex human body, psychophysical complex. This is what we see. And this involves the innumerable and the constant flux of change, without which it is not possible. This is exactly what the Buddha meant by all composite things impermanent. And looking back in time, like Genghis Khan, Thomas Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, and so forth, we see that all these big, the tyrants, conquerors, they existed at one time, and today, what is left out of their having traversed this earth is just the ruins of their forts, the fortresses, and the palaces, and so forth. This reminds us of the impermanence, the reality. However powerful a nation, the empire, the conqueror, maybe, is doomed to impermanence. And today, what is happening in the world? Again, we see that what the world is going to be like after 100 years, after 200 years from now, we never know. So, but the point is that each one of us, unlike what Charles Darwin said, that the human beings, there is the basic emotions such as attachment, anger, and fear, and so forth. These are instincts which we cannot get rid of them. And the whole purpose of the human beings or the species is just to continue the species. That's what purpose. Whereas to Buddha is very different. For Buddha, each one of us, each life is so precious. But even if you are already very old, 80, 50, 60, 70, 80, and so forth, you as a living being is so precious, so important. By no means your job is done. For Charles Darwin, once your children is born, done, you are redundant on planet Earth. The whole purpose of this species is to continue the species, and your job is done, and you are redundant. So whereas for Buddha, you're not redundant, you are very precious, you're very important. So why these two perspectives come into being is for the reason that Buddha is looking at beings from the point of view of the mind, but Charles Darwin is looking at the beings from the point of the physical evolution. Physical evolution from the unicellular organism to the apes, to the dinosaurs, and so forth, and eventually as the Homo sapiens. So this is the difference. As such, we all, even at the time of dying, we'll all have the fear that I'm leaving this world. So Buddha acknowledged that, and then your physical body has an end, but your mind doesn't end. Your physical body, it continues in the form of the
your body is cremated, and the ashes are left behind, and these ashes will be consumed as nutrients by the plants, and plants will be eaten by some animals. And likewise, there's a whole cycle, the cycle, the food chain happening. And then your body will be consumed by the plants to become apples, eaten by another human being, again become part of that person's body, and so forth. But the mind, the body, your body terminates, but it continues in terms of the substantial cause, it continues. Like with your mind, it never stops. Substantially speaking, it continues. So that mind which continues after your existence, after the termination of this life today, or this life, that becomes your next life. So this is how for Buddha, the life after death, it plays a very important role based on his explanation of the nature of the mind. Whereas for Charles Darwin, it's just the succession, it's just the continuation of the human species or any species. That is the purpose of the species, and which is totally determined by the body, not by the mind. So this being the difference, the question for us is that we all have the innate desire to get away from miseries and to have the maximum happiness, whether you are a small child or you're an elderly, you are a male, female, whatever gender, whatever background, we all have the basic instinctive desire for happiness and want to get away from miseries. And the Buddha said, yes, you're right. You have the potential to awaken, to experience that, the total fearlessness and infinite happiness. This gives us such hope that our life is not to be seen as worthless, or oftentimes people, they go through depression, anxiety, feeling of loneliness, feeling of the worthlessness of their own life. For Buddha, no, you have that precious. You have a mind which has a tremendous capacity to experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness. But when we look at ourselves, we say it's full of miseries and pains. We can renounce these. This is known as the renunciation, to renounce our miseries, not to renounce your happiness. So with this mind, to get this level, why we are not successful in renouncing our miseries is for the reason that we are under the sway of the ignorance. And the ignorance Buddha enumerated, while there are innumerable kinds of ignorance, but they enumerated 4, which play a very crucial, vital role in dragging us down into miseries. And these 4 kinds of ignorance: versus misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent, misconceiving miseries as happiness, misconceiving impure things as pure, and finally misconceiving what is absent of intrinsic existence as a self to be of intrinsic self. So these 4 misconceptions bind us into the entanglement of samsara. So to get rid of these misconceptions, Buddha taught the 4 wisdoms. So first one is the all-encompassing things impermanent. Second one is all contaminated things are suffering nature, where no matter how successful you are in the material, the financially, materially, family, power, and so forth, whereas your mind is contaminated with ignorance and with selfishness, you are never happy. For example, the richest of people we can see them dependent on the tranquilizers, and most powerful people are seen dependent on tranquilizers and so forth. And the celebrities in the movie industries, we see that people depend on the antidepressants, tranquilizers, and so forth. These are the clear indication that these in themselves are not the ultimate source of happiness. And the real source of happiness is within you. That needs to be uncovered. At the same time, it does not rule out the involvement of the external factors for your happiness. External factors important, and more so important is the internal factors. So with this mind, internal speaking, the Buddha identified these misconceptions to be eradicated by the 4 kinds of wisdom. So with this clear awareness, of course, it requires so much of studies, contemplation, meditation to make sense of these 4 basic lines of what the Buddha taught. So having said this, next is the the secret of your happiness is the universal compassion. So for that matter, we are taking this opportunity of this Chotrul Düchen, the day Buddha performed innumerable miracles in order to see that the virtues can win over the evil. So with this mind, what is the greatest of the virtue? Greatest of virtue is the universal compassion. And look at His Holiness. For example, say if all the world leaders are there like His Holiness, there's not going to be any war. All wars will stop and all miseries will stop. There's a reality, and everybody will give hand to each other. For example, like at the time of COVID, all the nations come together, knowing that one nation suffers from the COVID, it'll affect the whole world. So therefore, every part of the world, they come together, all nations come together. So this is exactly how wise people will see things as interconnected, the way His Holiness the Dharma sees the world as interconnected. If this is what we can see of all the leaders turning, changing the perspective, the way, the manner in which His Holiness sees the world is going to be a very beautiful world. So it depends. It all lies in cultivating the universal compassion. So as a part of this, and each one of us, whether in this life, in the own world of your own family, in the world of your own workplace, in the world where you in the future, for example, you can inspire the youngsters, children, the future leaders. So give that a sense of the universal compassion. What today His Holiness coined as the universal ethics, grounded on compassion and understanding of interdependency. So if this is something which we can inculcate in your mind and share this with the younger children, your friends and so forth, we can for sure dream of a better world, more peaceful world in the future. So having said this, the universal compassion as a gesture of cultivating this universal compassion on this day, where the Prince Siddhartha, driven by this altruistic intention to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, he eventually became the full awakened one to wake up the whole world from the darkness of ignorance to the light of the wisdom. So as the gesture of that, let us quickly invoke the spirit of the altruistic Bodhicitta, and for which we're going to just invoke the spirit, may I become awakened, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And given that most of you are from the Nalanda studies, you already learn about the chant, which we're going to quickly explain this in a summary form. Do you know the meaning? So therefore, I don't really have to go into detail as to what is meant by awakened state. So a state where you are the mind, which is seen like a gold mixed with the mud, and the ordinary people do not see the gold inside, they see it as a mud. It's a useless mud, but in the eyes of the gold experts, the Buddhas or enlightened beings, they see your mind, as having the gold-like, the Buddha's quality of perfection, and for which we need to remove the mind of this dirt, metal dirt, and then gold inside will start to glow, shine, and you see that there's a very pure gold within us. So this is the full awakening. So with this mind, let us take a few seconds to invoke the spirit. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And verbally as well, we'll say this 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mothers and sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mothers and sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mothers and sentient beings. Okay, visualize the spirit that you've generated, the altruistic spirit that you've generated now, may I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, which is technically referred to as Bodhicitta. Visualize that it transforms into a spotlessly clean moon disk, horizontally sitting with the heart, Okay, this is amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of the sentient beings. But we should be aware that no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Likewise, how do you know that you can become a Buddha? Yes, that's true. I'm not like a handful of sand, I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing on which oil does come out. I have the Buddha nature within me, I have the potential for Buddhahood within me. If that is the case, why not it is manifested this potential, it got manifested since time immemorial till now? Yes, that's true. It's all because that thus far I've been deceived by these two demons, self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude, which makes me feel that these two are the best of my friends. And today, for the first time, I'm disillusioned by these two. For me to realize that these two are the worst the demons, and I'm going to do everything to exterminate the two. What are you going to do to exterminate these two? By introducing a very powerful remedy, that is the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, what is that wisdom of emptiness? It's going to be a quick daily meditation. It's going to be a guided meditation. Just try to contemplate the way the manner in which you're being guided in this flow of the thoughts. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And how does this person who you identify as I appear to you? Like a dream that your mind is projecting, like the movie being projected by the movie projector, or as so objectified, so solidified there. Of course, so solidified, objectified there. This belief that the I and things exist is so objectified, solidified. This is known as self-grasping ignorance. And how to know that this ignorance is not a valid mind? Yes, if this were to be, if the self does exist the way that it appears as intrinsically real, is objectified, remember what our Nagarjuna taught. If the mirage were to be water, when not those close by the mirage see water. If this I were to, with a similar token breathing, if this I would exist objectively, why don't I see this I as go closer to this object, to this I? Okay, now let's go closer to this object, which is technically known as subjecting the self to ultimate analysis. Okay, subjecting the self to ultimate analysis. By going closer to the self, what do you see? Just ignore all the things which are not the self. You're only interested in objectively existing self. And going closer, we end up seeing the thin layers of skin. Of course, that is not me. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the whole skeleton, the muscles, the cartilages, the heart, the lungs, the liver, spleen, intestine, all better. These solid parts constitute the element of earth. And in other words, element of earth is not to be identified as intrinsic as the self. Then what is the element of water? 4 liters of blood that is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Water. And the fire, the body heat, 2,600 joules of energy that the body has. Of course, that is not me. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Of course, that's not me. Element space, 99.98% of your body's vacuum. That's space occupied by the elemental particles, such as electrons, protons, neutrons. They are too tiny in comparison with the space between the nucleus and the electrons. So essentially, we are like the empty vacuum. But I'm a solid person. These are the vacuum, the space-like vacuum. And what is left now? And consciousness. That's your mind. I'm a male. I'm a non-male. I'm a female. I'm a non-female. But the mind does not have a gender. And also the people can see me, but people cannot see my mind. So therefore, in the mind, the consciousness is also not me. Yes. Okay, now, subjecting yourself to ultimate analysis by coming too close to self, what do you see? You just see that the self is not there. It's just the 6 elements. And which of 6 elements is to be identified as intrinsic as the self? None. If none, remove the 6 elements to see if the self does exist as intrinsically as different from the 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements, what happened? Nothing is left there. Okay. Now, given that if the self exists subjectively from the object, there are only these 2 possibilities. Either the 6 elements which you identify through subjecting this ultimate analysis, we see that either that should be the self, or separate from that should be the self. And given that none of these 2 holds true to be the self is, it can be conclusively, safely we can say that self from the object is empty. Okay, now tell me, you come too close to this object, where is this self which you earlier identified as so objectified there? It's totally non-existent. Okay, it's just like vacuum, self disappears. Stay in this experience for a while. It doesn't mean that self is empty. Self is empty objectively. Self does exist. How? Subjectively. How do we know that? So the mind, when shifted from the ultimate analysis to the conventional analysis, then the self again comes back. How do you know that? Just imagine you come out of the meditation. Again, the person, I, comes back. Okay, so it appears, but objectively it is empty. Subjectively it appears, so therefore it says it's mere subjective, like a dream, which is merely subjective. Therefore, every phenomenon the Buddha identified as like a dream, like a mirage. Okay, now subjective ultimate analysis, where is the self? The self is just empty, objectively empty. Don't say it is empty, it's objectively empty. Stay in this experience for a while. For some people, there can be a tinge of fear. For others, it can be so blissful. Okay, slowly transform this wisdom of emptiness into a spotless, clean, white Vajra, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon-disk at your heart. This is known as the blaze of non-dual bodhicittas. The moon is symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta, which is the altruistic intention to become Buddha for the benefit of demonstration beings. And the Vajra is symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta, which is the non-dual wisdom of emptiness of the Arya Bodhisattvas, which is guaranteed to exterminate, to get rid of all the mental defilements, including the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude, thereby making your Buddha nature, which is like the solid gold, pure gold, manifest in its true form, where you experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness. And which allows you to share your wisdom, this wisdom with all the demonstration beings, with the ultimate, the sense of compassion. Okay. Meanwhile, don't forget that you 2 grandparents and all the family members, all sentient beings are suffering so much. Domestic violence, wars happening amongst countries. But then the border tensions, illnesses, mental ill health, the physical pains, hospitals, ICUs, and so forth, full of miseries. Yes, general, very strong compassion with all the beings. And this compassion invokes the Vajramuni at your heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one side of the Vajramuni at the heart of your mother, one side with the heart of your father, one side with each one of your family members, including children, and one with each of sentient beings in your own country, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe, everyone. All the creatures in the oceans, trillions of creatures in the oceans, they all get the share of Vajramuni from you. And all the creatures in the wilderness, God and goddesses, spirits, hungry ghosts, animal realm, everyone gets a share of Vajramuni from you. Meanwhile, let us not forget all Buddhist Bodhisattvas are watching us. Why not we invite all Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be the witness to our undertaking the ceremony of taking the Aspirational Bodhisattva vow? As just making this request, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. and we stand up with the along with ultimate sentient beings. Okay, see if you can sit on your right knees to take the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. And let us turn to page 50, page 50. And okay, yes, page 50. The best way by which to commemorate the great teachers, to commemorate these great enlightened masters, such as Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness, and so forth, is by doing something which would really please them. And what really pleases them is you following the footsteps to benefit all the demonstration beings. So what we're doing is emulating these great teachers, following their footsteps. And with this mind, imagine that you are leading, just imagine that you are leading this practice and all the demonstration beings are joining you in this, taking the ceremony, taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow. And who's entitled to take this ceremony, taking the aspirational Bodhisattva vow? Anyone is entitled to take this ceremony or engage in the ceremony. And it's not that you should be Buddhist. Even non-Buddhists can also take part in this. And the whole idea is that as long as you have the sense of compassion towards other beings, that from today onwards, I'll try my best to be helpful to others. If not, at least I'll not harm others. This much, if you can make a commitment, and I'll take this aspirational Bodhisattva vow. And imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining you in taking this aspirational Bodhisattva vow. Okay, with this mind, that is wholeheartedly, I'll just quickly explain these three verses. The first verse, it says, I go for refuge to the Chotrul Düchen. That is, that this journey of awakening your mind is the most important journey in the universe, in the world. And because this is a journey which we have never undertaken thus far, we require incredible support. And the greatest of the support that we can think of is the Chotrul Düchen. So therefore it says, I'll go for refuge in Chotrul Düchen. And this journey involves the road. If the road is blocked by the boulders and the falling trees and so forth, again, you cannot undertake this journey. So this road is none other than your own mind. This road, this mind must be cleared of the mental negativities. So the second line says, I confess the negativities individually. And now the road is clear, but if the car does not have enough fuel, again, you cannot undertake the journey. The car is none other than only mind, and this mind should have the enough fuel of the virtues. So the third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of the beings. So now that the road is clear, your car is enough fuel, what kind of journey I'm going to undertake? I'm going to undertake the journey of enlightenment, Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this is the verse. Let's wholeheartedly say this 3 times and imagine that you're leading this practice and all beings are so happily joining you in this journey. I go for refuge to the Chotrul Düchen. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Chotrul Düchen. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. And the next 2 verses, the first, it commenced with the inviting or requesting Buddhist Bodhisattvas to be here to you. And the first verse is with respect to who on the planet Earth succeeded in this journey of becoming enlightened to benefit all sentient beings, to share this light of the wisdom with all the beings. So looking at the history of humanity, we see that 2,500 years ago, there was one prince by the name Prince Siddhartha, and he succeeded in this. How did he succeed? How did he succeed in this? Through him, through getting into creating two factors. The first factor is generating very strong the aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And the second factor, to materialize this aspiration, he engaged in the Bodhisattva practices, 6 perfections, and the 4 perfections, making 10 perfections. So the second verse says, if this is how he succeeded, I will follow in his footsteps. I will also generate a strong Bodhicitta, aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And the second factor, to materialize this aspiration, I will also engage in Bodhisattva practices. So this is what we should wholeheartedly say, try best, even though it may sound so superficial with many of us, but this is the meaning of the practice. We have to do this and eventually it become real. So let's say this wholeheartedly. Imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining you so happily. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and Lavashala to successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta and Lavashala to successful train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta and Lavashala to successful train the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, feel the joy of having received the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And imagine the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are so happy and proud of you. Just imagine like a small child, you as a little girl or a little boy, just age 4 or 5, for the first time in your life, you're making public appearance on behalf of your school, and just imagine how proud your parents feel. This is exactly what is happening today. All the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, like your parents, are so proud of you having taken aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And since time immemorial, the Bodhisattvas, they just expect that you do something, you discard, you shun the negativities so that you don't suffer. On the contrary, we always embrace negativities, harming others, and so forth. And then the Buddhist Bodhisattvas always wish that they be engaged in the virtues. On the contrary, we shun the virtues, thereby we are being always deprived of the happiness. Today, what you did made really the Buddhist Bodhisattvas so proud. It's like the mother after all this many years of getting complaint from the school principal. Today, when the school principal comes again, the mother being very apprehensive, what kind of complaints? And the school principal said, no, I need to congratulate you. For the first time, mother, after all these many years of raising children, today she's hearing something very pleasant. Otherwise, all these many years, you have been bringing the complaint to your mother from the school. And the school principal, your 2 children, the little boy and little girl, 2 of them, I appointed the best students of this and for the school for this year, And the mother could not believe her eyes in years. She was so relieved. This is exactly what happens to all Bodhisattvas. And because of this, the joy, enormous the joy and happiness that Buddhist Bodhisattvas feel, invoke the Vajramoon, the full-fledged form of the Vajramoon at the house of Buddhist Bodhisattvas, so multiply infinite number of times. Like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualize your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all the replicas of Vajramoon from the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that visualize at the heart of your dad, mom, all your family members, children, and all sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, herbivores, God and goddess spirits in your country, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and the entire universe, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. this is the greatest of the gift that you can think of making to your two grandparents on demonstration makes. And today you've gifted this gift to them. And this is the greatest of the offering that you can make to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And today you made this offering. Buddha himself declared that one moment of practice of compassion far excels the gifts of the whole universe filled with diamonds, gold, silver, and so forth, and offered to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. If this were to be the case, what I mentioned of you having taken aspiration Bodhisattva today, the altruistic intention to become Buddha, very compassionate intention to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. So this is the greatest offering that you have made today to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. And out of your life, you see that there's nothing greater purpose than what you did today. And today you have given such a purpose and meaning to your own life. And all these wonders are happening because of the blessings of the Buddhas Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas, and let us once more stand up to make 3 prostrations, along with all the sentient beings. Okay, please take your seats. Now sit comfortably. Okay, let us now turn to page 51. What we've done just now, taking the aspiration Bodhisattva, this is very precious. We feel the value of the 2 Bodhicittas. And in this life, yes, we met with this teaching. What about the next life? So to make sure that in the next life, we also meet with the same teaching, and then we progress further, eventually to build the full awakening. And we include that in the form of a great, powerful prayer. So we'll say this verse 3 times together. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even in the cosmic life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even in the cosmic life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassionate Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even in the cosmic life. In order to further increase bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucid the seas and awakened mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit, having well obtained this human existence. I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall it disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in the Hebrew rubbish, likewise by some coincidence, an awakened mind has been born within me. Is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. Is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. Is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. Is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tied on the path of conditioned existence. Is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. Is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. Is a great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. It is the quintessential butter from the churn of the middle of Dharma. For all those guests dwelt on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the bounties of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy, and I shall praise them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, thank you. So now, since we don't have much time, what we'll do is that we will turn to the chart. We'll do a very quick introduction of this chart, summary chart. Okay, so maybe then our Geshima group offer. Okay, who's the youngest one? Raise hands. The youngest member here? Youngest. Who's the youngest? Raise hand. Huh? Who's the youngest? Didn't, how old are you? You're 19. The girl before, didn't la? Okay, 23. Okay, and is there anybody who's younger? Aditi, how old are you? Oh yeah, I thought you were. Yeah, I thought you were younger than Dedanla. Huh? Where? Where? Where's the toddler? Okay. Okay, Simpson, Dedanla is the youngest one now, right? The boy there? Huh? Or do you want to? Okay. And Dedanla, come over the light. Dedanla, come quick. Over the light. Yeah. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. Okay, thank you. So now let us turn to the chart, Kumala. And the others, please turn to the chart, summary chart. Okay. Okay, so the others, those are the back. There's one extra here. Okay, some of you have, otherwise those in the front, you can look at it here. Okay, so the summary chart is something, but I'd like to quickly explain this. It'll not take too much time. And this is just for, particularly for those people who are already exposed to this teaching, the teaching on the Nalanda diploma course. And for information, there's one lady by the name Bhavani Prakash Ji from Singapore. In fact, she has been extremely creative, and then I think that was the first Nalanda diploma course, NDC 1, and she was making summary of all the one, I think about like 1.5 years course, making summary of all the topics which we were covering, and then finally she came up with this just one chart. And it has been purely the ingenuity and her creativity, so that resulted in this. And of course, there are many hands who contributed to this beautiful chart. And for example, like Tenzin Miniglam, then Tenzin Setenlam, and then they translate into Tibetan language by Tenzin Yangzum Lam, and then now translate into other languages in Spanish, in Hebrew, and in Mandarin Chinese, and in Russian, and some of the languages also. So so now there's a prospect that it will be translated into many other languages. So, and the most importantly, it was in 2023 during the audience. 2023, 2nd June. Okay, 2nd June, I'm very glad that the Motivator staff, the institute, is very particular with the dates. Usually this was the problem. So she got us the correct date. Thank you. Okay, this is improvement. Progress, amazing. Okay, thank you. And as for this chart was blessed by His Holiness, and I'm so glad that we're able to introduce Prakash, Bhavani Prakash ji. So, are you there, Bhavani ji? You are there. Bhavani. Online check. Mare, Mingtadani. Ravena, Mingtad. Are you there? If you're there, you unmute. Or you are not there. Again, it doesn't matter. So His Holiness actually blessed the chant during the audience for the Nalanda study students undertaking of Tibet House. And for information, when we first drafted the topics to be introduced, before we launched the course, we were drafting the topics to be taught. And the 2016, when His Holiness, when we requested His Holiness to launch this program, and at the end, we see the picture. At the end of the chart, we see the picture of His Holiness launching the program. Launch the program. So this is Integra Stadium in Delhi. And it was attended to by a total about like 10,000 or 11,000 people. And His Holiness was inaugurating this with the Union Minister of India, Indian Union Minister, and the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, and the Tibetan, the Minister of the Culture from the Central Tibetan Administration launched this program. And before the launch, we had a brief audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama in the hotel in Delhi. And then we briefed what are the topics that we drafted to be taught under the Nalanda Master's course and the Diploma course. His Holiness was extremely meticulously going through each of the points, each of the topics, and was constantly telling us that you did not include this, you did not include that, and so forth. That's amazing. In fact, this is whatever is here is actually literally being blessed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Okay, so we just begin by saying that the diploma course, we always begin by us asking this question: what's the purpose of life? What's the purpose of life? This is how we begin the course. And then the takeaway from this course was that be kind to yourself and be wisely kind to yourself. These are the two main, say, the takeaways. Be kind to yourself, meaning that who's kind to you? Generally speaking, your parents. In what way your parents are kind to you? They offer you whatever you want, happiness, joys, comfort, and so forth. So therefore, the joy happens, these are resultant states. Be kind to yourself means go for the resultant happy states of your mind. The next is be wisely kind to yourself. Results are determined by the causes. And the unwise people, they will go for the wrong cause. They will go into indulgence and so forth, meaning to give themselves happiness. On the contrary, it gives rise to miseries. So the wise people will go for the virtues to give themselves happiness. So this is the indication of being wise. So the second line says, be wisely kind to yourself, referring to the need for us to embrace the corresponding causes of happiness. So what is that what is the cause of the happiness? So here comes the summary chart. So at the top, if you look at this, we see that the purpose of life is in simple terms to experience or to have the genuine happiness, which is Holiness the Dalai Lama very clearly indicated. I remember that 2008 when His Holiness was invited by Delhi University to give teachings, to give public talk. At the end of the talk, one girl stood up to ask a question to His Holiness, what's the purpose of life? And His Holiness, without any second thought, says that we live in hope and we hope for happiness. Therefore, the genuine happiness is the purpose of life. And this genuine happiness, what is meant by genuine happiness? It is the experience of fearlessness and infinite happiness. And technically speaking, fearlessness is referred to as nirvana, and the infinite happiness is referred to as Buddhahood. So to see that these things can possibly happen in us, we should have the potential. So if you go to the extreme left, we see that the chart at the top, extreme left, the blue part, it says the seed of perfection. So we all have the seed of perfection. We all have the seed of perfection, the Buddha nature within us. So it's symbolized by this diamond. This is so creatively added by the Pavani Prakashji. So she so creatively did it. And then if you just see from the diamond, it goes down to the black diamond, indicating that this diamond within us, each one of us, that is obscured by the mental defilements. So mental defilements, there are two kinds, afflictive and compounded obscurations. That is the thing. And then the next is that how to, in the first place, how do we know that we have this diamond like Buddha nature, and what are the obstacles which obscure this diamond like Buddha nature, and what are the means to cleanse this? It entirely depends on the wise teachings, perfect teachings. So if you go to the central part of the chart, we see the Buddha giving teachings to the five ascetics, the five disciples at the center. Okay, at the top center, so we see the Buddha giving the teachings. And then to the left side of the Buddha, we see that there are three wheels there symbolizing the three turnings of Dharma. And then below the Buddha, we see that there are three places. So the three turnings of Dharma, these constitute how to illuminate the knowledge, the awareness. So for this, the place where the three turnings teachings happen, and the primary audience, and who are the people to whom these teachings were given, and then the subject matter, what was being taught. So all these three things are being explained there. Then so this is how the teachings evolved to help the beings, for them to be kind to themselves and for them to be wisely kind to themselves by helping them identify that each one of us, we have the Buddha nature, the diamond of Buddha nature. At the moment, it may be too obscured, very dull diamond, black one. And then how to make it come out. If you go to extreme left, we see that from this top blue, and make it a little smaller, we see that to the extreme left, it reads, and the proliferating Buddha nature and so forth, still make still smaller, make it still smaller. So we see that to the extreme that they are the diamonds of the diamonds of the diamonds. They're diamonds, yes, still smaller. So going down, from top down to the extreme left, we see the diamonds. Every time the diamond becomes cleaner. So they are the indication of the five diamonds. First, they're very black, and then every time is progressively become cleaner, indicating the gate, para samgate, Buddhas. There are five stages of the purification of your Buddha energy inside. These five are referred to as the gate, para samgate, Bodhisvaha, the five parts. So this is included there. Then the next is that how to awaken this, how to proceed, how to follow this journey of cleansing the mind of this mental defilement. Now go to the top left. Okay, now from there we go further, and the first, what we need to do is that our mind, we have the Buddha nature, and it's the mental defilements, just as washing the clothes. First we have to remove the gross dirt and then the subtle dirt. So of the mental defilements, the grosser one is the afflictive obscurations. To get rid of the afflictive obscurations, the motivation to get rid of the afflictive obscuration known as renunciation. Motivation to get rid of the cognitive obscuration, subtle one is known as Bodhicitta. And with these two motivations, what actually helps us to cleanse the mind of the mental defilements is the wisdom. So these three form what is known as the three principal aspects of the path, as you can see there. So renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness. So then the next is that okay, so the details, more details of Gade Gade Paragade. The process of purification is in more detail explained in the form of what is known as the 10 Bodhisattva grounds. 10 Bodhisattva grounds. You see that to the extreme left, from there, as we see the diamond is every time becoming more and more clean, along parallel to that, we see that the 5 paths are indicated: part of the accumulation, part of preparation, then part of seeing, part of meditation, and finally part of no more learning with respect to the Mahayana path. And then the more detailed explanation of they say what each of these are the path of each of these the paths, and also the Bodhisattva grounds. 10 Bodhisattva grounds, what they are, is well explained there. Then at the end of the extreme left, at the end of the extreme left, we see that when your diamond becomes totally perfectly clean, what happens? You become awakened one. Awakened one in Sanskrit is known as the Buddha. Buddha. So Buddha doesn't mean Buddhism. Buddha means the awakened one, who's diamond inside, the diamond like the treasure, ultimate treasure, happiness. In fact, for us, one thing which is so important for us to know is that, for example, people crave for cheesecake. People crave for money. And let's say people crave, so those in cold areas, people crave for the heat, temperature, the heat. And in a hot place, people crave for the cold. Because by cold, they say in heat, you get the cool feeling, is very pleasant. In other words, we're all looking for the pleasant feeling. We try to run away from unpleasant feeling. This is what we are doing. Almost like 100% of our endeavors, our efforts are in that pursuit. So in reality, the thing is that, say, for example, they say, I love cheesecake. So likewise, you then relate this to anything else. Cheesecake is an example. I love cheesecake. Well, where's cheesecake? Is it in thought or outside? Outside. Cheesecake, you don't like it. You like the outside cheesecake. So what is this outside cheesecake? When that is missing, you feel sad. Again, you are affected. When it's there, you're happy. When it's missing, you are unhappy. So which means that you are dependent. So this dependency on that gross level, this is the sadness, this is the pain. For example, the children having the parents. When the parents are there, they are very happy. The parents pass away, parents die. It's so painful, it's so painful. I remember myself when I was just 5 years old. I could just see I don't remember like the movie, I just remember like the screenshots of my life when I was just 5 years old, when I lost my mom, and then how the 3 siblings, my sister, myself, my brother, 3 of us, we were just all hugging our father, everybody wailing, screaming, crying, and then over the mother's loss. So look, so much pain. Which is why? Because that when the person's there, you are happy. When the person's not there, there's pain. And sometimes when the person's there, you are so much pain. When the person's gone, you're very happy. So this is what life is there's a dependency there. But the reality is dominant inside each one of us. We look for the happiness outside. If you really see that, the diamond is inside me. So the joy that you get out of cheesecake, for example, let's say joy that you get, cheesecake. I remember, say, for example, even enjoying apples as a little boy. And many of us, we have no clue what's the taste of apple like. We have all tasted apple, but we don't really know the real taste of the apple. When we look at it, you are cut off from eating apple for the next 5 years. And finally, you get one apple that you're very extremely hungry, you eat it. The taste is elixir. So there we see the so intrinsically real. When that is gone, again, you feel the missing. That's a pain. So the joy that you get out of eating the cheesecake, the real joy, that joy is coming because of the external stimulus. Whereas if you can trigger this joy internally, if you can unearth, retrieve from inside, then the joy that you get out of the outside, multiply multiply that by infinity, you get the joy from inside. If you learn how to retrieve it inside. But we never attempt to look for this joy from inside. We always go for outside. This is a problem. And then because that the treasure is not outside there, it's all inside. And I remember this story. This is the anecdote which I like to share, which I like to think, contemplate myself as well. So often this is very beautiful. It really reflects our reality. A man was searching for a lost key under the street light, and somebody, a passerby asked, "Can I help you?" Person said, "Yes." "What are you looking for?" "I'm looking for a lost key." And the person was also searching for the key. And the person asked, "Are you sure you lost the key here?" He said, "No, sir." "Why are you looking for here? Where did you lose your key?" "I lost the key in my house." "Why are you looking here in this under street light, not in the house?" "See, in the house there's no light." This is stupidity. We're looking for you lost the real key, you lost in the house. It's in the house. Are you looking for outside, under the outside light? So likewise, the real joy is inside. The diamond is inside, not outside. I'm looking for the cheesecake outside. So that's a problem. So if you're able to retrieve the joy from inside, then the joy that we get from outside, multiply that by infinity, is what we can feel. So this is the wise people who approach for the joy inside, or versus the unwise people who look for the joy outside. But it doesn't mean that outside is something to be discarded, because that we are so weak at the moment, and so we are like a sapling. When we are sapling, we require the fencing. We require the fencing. So likewise, say we are too weak that we require the help of the external things. So with this in mind, so finally, so what is that infinite happiness? What is that total fearlessness and infinite happiness? External things, the more you get sense of security, more the insecurity builds up, because you get somebody who's very powerful to help you. The moment this person becomes sick, again, you feel even more insecure. So that insecurity builds up because of the security that you look from outside. Whereas if the security you get from the retrieving from inside, then that's the truly real security. So what is that security? The total fearlessness and infinite happiness. All these insecurities are coming to us because of the afflictive obscurations, and lack of the joy is because of the cognitive obscurations. When these two are removed, then you feel the infinite happiness and the total fearlessness, infinite happiness. What is that like? So at the bottom, this resultant state when the diamond becomes completely manifested, where all the dirt, the stains are removed completely. So it says, Buddhakayas. Then when you become Buddha, what is that like? All the detailed explanations are given there. This is one thing. And then going into, say, the said, renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom of emptiness. So the first, we need to have the foundation, the renunciation. Then from there, to stay away from harming others. Stay from harming others. Then it allows you to expand your compassion. Then benefit others, bodhicitta will come about. For the renunciation, the first, we see that there's the teaching on the Four Noble Truths. If you turn to the top green, good, Four Noble Truths. So we're so lucky that we have this children here, now very experienced. She's helping our IT staff, not IT, our program coordinator. Yeah, so the children is helping. Thank you so much. She knows where I'm pointing at. Thank you. So Four Noble Truths, with respect to the renunciation, the teaching of Four Noble Truths is a very important role. Likewise, the teaching of Four Seals. So following that, below that is the Tenshudana. Below that, when I say below that, you go below that. Don't just keep. Below that is the Four Seals. Good. And then further explanations of the 37 harmonious path to enlightenment. All these teachings pertain to the renunciation. Okay. And then with respect to the details of the gaining expertise in this practice of the various, the 37 harmonious paths of enlightenment, related them to your spiritual realizations of the 10 bhumis, all will find them interlinked. Then alongside even below that, we see the 3 baskets and the 3 high trainings. So with respect to all the teachings of Buddha, how they are contained in the 3 groups known as 3 baskets, and the corresponding the subject matters with respect to how we need to grow. So as we began this ceremony by saying that we need to ignite the wisdom. So this wisdom should be extremely bright, plus that the wisdom should be very steady. So the practice of the Vinaya, the Shila, and the Samadhi, they have to build the stability of this wisdom, the light of the wisdom, and from the Pragya to sharpen this intelligence, to make this the flame so bright, so very bright and steady, will have the capacity to get it to dispel the complete darkness. So that is the 3 baskets and the high trainings. Then from there, we see that, and then we move to the central, the 12 links of the wheel of life at the center, the wheel of life. Still make it smaller, still smaller, still smaller. Good. Wheel of life, that letter should be visible. Okay, now comes the wheel of life that pertains to the teaching on the renunciation. More detailed explanation of the 4 noble truths will be seen in this teaching, depiction of the wheel of life, where we begin by the Buddha's own teachings of Ye Dharma, Hetu Prabhava, Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hevatat, Tesham Jayu Niruddha Evam Vadima Shramana Soha, this mantra. And so on that, based on that mantra, are in Nagarjuna's verse. The ceasing karmas afflictions is nirvana. Karmas afflictions arise from conceptualization, and which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and this elaboration ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. So based on that, 12 links of dependent origination, the wheel of life teaching, and this wheel of make it smaller, that the top wheel of life should be visible. So when it's wheel of life, people can relate very easily. So the wheel of life, and this is the teaching, which is a very important, the painting, the commissioned by the Buddha himself, and to be presented to the king, to help King Bimbisara, as to prepare a gift to the fellow king, King Uttarayana. And this is this plays very important the part of the teaching to trigger, to give rise to what is known as the renunciation. So with this in mind, the 12 links, with the 12 links, now the details of 12 links are going to be explained here to the extreme, not to the extreme, right next to the painting. Yes, from the top down, top down to the right side, top down right. Yes, make it a little bigger, where the brown out down, the brown heading, up there, top, brown head. 12 links of dependent origination. Make it a little bigger, the title, and a little down, yes. 12 links of dependent origination. Now, what you see in this painting, which was commissioned by the Buddha himself, the detailed explanation, you will find it here under this 12 links of dependent origination. And the first link, ignorance. With respect to that ignorance, what kind of ignorance can be seen within us? They're all then explained here. 4 perverted, the 4 perverted views, and the 6, and how the ignorance gives rise to the afflictions. They're all given rise to, explained here. And afflictions like the 6 roots of afflictions and the 20 secondary afflictions, all are given there, and how the afflictions are given rise to by the 8 mundane concerns, and the mundane concerns are all given there. And then the number 3, the contaminated karmas, what kind of karmas are there, how the karmas are given rise to, and the classification of karma, all these in summary, they're all given there. And then next to consciousness, meaning our own mind, how the consciousness can what kinds of consciousness are there, sensory and mental, and how the sensory consciousness can arise, what kind of factors are required, 3 factors are required for the sensory consciousness to arise, all these are given there. And with respect to the earlier the karmas, if we engage in negative karmas, how can they be purified? Even that, the 4 powers of purification at the extreme right, these are given there, how to purify the negative, the karmas and so forth. And then the next one is that after the consciousness, when you connect yourself to your next life, in the mother's womb, what happens? Name and form. Number 4, yes, is good. Number 4, yes, name and form. And what is name? Name is your mind, and the form, your body, your body and the mind in the mother's womb. And what is this? The form, the body made of 6 elements. What are 6 elements? And then the name in terms of the mind, all what is explained in the consciousness goes there. Then the number 5, the sense. And of course, people who are very new to this, we can't expect that you may be able to follow everything. This is like a summary of what the people study for like whole 1.5 years as a part of the Nalanda diploma course. So the sense sources, what kind of sense sources are there? 6 sense sources, and 6 sense sources, then the 6 objects, 6 sense sources, and then the 6 conscious combined together makes the 18 elements. So 18 elements which counts the whole universe. Then the contact, number 6, number 7, feeling, and how the feeling, what kind of feelings are there? 3 kinds of feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral, and how these 3 feelings, they give rise to the 3 kinds of craving, and the 3 kinds of, the 3 kinds of emotions, 3 kinds of poisons, attachment, anger, and the ignorance. And then within craving, what kind of cravings are there? And then this leads to the grasping. With respect to the grasping, what kind of grasping is there? And then we go to the becoming, which is a part of the karma. And then for the number 11, the birth, and number 12, aging and death. Aging, with respect to aging and death meaning suffering. What kind of miseries are there? Suffering, 3 kinds of miseries are there. And with respect to that, 3 kinds of realm, which kind of suffering is prevalent in desire realm, what kind of suffering exists in the form realm, which kind of suffering exists in the formless realm. This is all explained there. Okay, so in this regard, then what can all these sufferings explained in detail, and the 12 links of dependent origination. So what is the causal 12 links of dependent origination, and what are the 2 cycles put together, not necessarily in a causal form, but how they can causally come into being is explained to the causal sequence of the 12 links of dependent origination. So this is just a quick presentation of this chart, which we studied, which takes like 1.5 years to study. And finally, the gist of what we have explained here is that what we need to know is that, first of all, we need to know that we all have the Buddha nature, no matter who you are, whether you think you are the most worthless person, hopeless person, but you're not wordless, you're not hopeless. You have a Buddha nature. Everybody has a Buddha nature. Just Buddha Shakyamuni is revered everywhere. You also have that quality which can manifest in the form of the Buddha, where every creature in the universe will revere you. So this potential is within us. That's Buddha nature. We need to get a conviction in this. So if this Buddha nature becomes manifest, then what will you do? What will happen to you? Then this will allow you to experience what you want. You want total fearlessness, and you want infinite happiness. So for example, we go to hospitals to get away from the fears, and we go for celebration, birthday parties, and so forth, to expand your happiness. So to make your misery 0, to make your happiness infinite, that is your goal. So that goal encompasses who you will be when you become enlightened fully, when your Buddha nature becomes manifest fully. Then what's the process like? What is the process like from what you're today till the goals accomplished, goals say your potential culminated in the form of your desired goal? What should we do? The process, that is a path. So in other words, the great masters, they formatted all these teachings into three categories. The first one is the basis, the reality that we live in, the reality of your Buddha nature. And you know the reality. On that basis, what do you aspire? Ultimately, what do you aspire? Everybody aspired for total fearlessness and infinite happiness. And total fearlessness technically referred to as nirvana, and infinite happiness totally technically referred to as Buddhahood. So these are the two goals. Whether you're a believer or not believer, whether you're Buddhist or not Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Everybody is seeking fearlessness and infinite happiness. So that is your goal. And these two are technically referred to as nirvana and Buddhahood. So we have now realized that the basis, which means that you are what you are now, what you have the Buddha nature, this is reality. And then if you let this Buddha nature manifest completely in its full form, you can attain your aspired goal, that is fearlessness and infinite happiness, or nirvana and Buddhahood. And how to attain that based on the three principal aspects: renunciation, bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness. So, and then to go into detail, all the remaining teachings come into play. So the basis that we have, the basis of the Buddha nature that you have, an aspired goal that you're seeking, and the process by which to accomplish that. If you know these three things, whether you call yourself Buddhist or not, it doesn't matter. So finally, your well-being is guaranteed. So this is the purpose of understanding the study of the Nalanda Buddhist philosophy, blessed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, undertaken of Tibet House, Delhi. Thank you. Okay, with this in mind, now let us turn to the end dedication prayer. End dedication prayer, page 52. Okay, in fact, what I may say is that it may take us another 5 to 6 minutes. Let us turn to the long life prayer of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Page 267, page 267. Given that today, this year, His Holiness, be observing His Holiness's 90th birthday, and according to Tibetan calendar, this is the New Year, when His Holiness turns 90, and we are going to pray for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And there, where the enlightened beings like His Holiness, they exist on planet Earth, the whole world benefits. Where for children, where the parents leave the world, the children, they become destitute. So this is, whole world will suffer. So let's pray for His Holiness Dalai Lama's long life, healthy long life, and that the world continues to reap the maximum benefit of His Holiness's presence on planet Earth. And today, everywhere in the world, people heard His Holiness's the introductory teaching on the life stories of Buddha Shakyamuni. Okay, so with this in mind, let's read this together. Song of Immortality, prayer for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, composed by the Kyabje Ling Rinpoche and Kyabje Teja Rinpoche. Om Swasti. To the assembly of most kind teachers, both present and past, the miraculous dance of the body, speech, and mind of innumerable Buddhas, manifesting in accord with aspirant spiritual capacities, the wish granting jewel, the source of all virtue and goodness. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protect the land of snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of all meditational deities, manifesting as countless mandalas and divinities, the magical clouds of immaculate transcendent wisdom, reaching to the furthest expanse of the space of ultimate reality. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To all the victorious Buddhas of the three times, endowed with the 10 powers, and who are even masters of the gods, and whose attributes of perfection are the source of all compassionate deeds, benefiting the vast ocean-like realm of sentient beings, to you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of sacred doctrine embodied in the three vehicles, supremely serene, a jewel treasure enlightenment, stainless, unchanging, eternally good, and the glow for all virtues, which actually liberates beings from the suffering of the three worlds. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, the land for live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations fulfilled without hindrance. To all members of the enlightened noble spiritual community, we never astray the thoroughly liberating Adamantan city, who possess the wisdom eye that directly sees the profound truth and the highest valor to destroy all machinations of cyclic existence. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of heroes and Dakanis, heavenly beings of three worlds, who appear in their highest paradises, in the sacred places, and in the cremation grounds, and who through the creative play and the hundredfold experience of the bliss and emptiness, support practitioners in their meditation on the excellent path. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the ocean of protectors endowed with the transcendent wisdom, the powerful guardian upholders of the teaching, who were inseparable on their married locks, not symbolizing their pledge to the Vajradhara, to you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. Thus, to this congregation of excellent and undeceiving refuge, we pray that by the power of this prayer, expressed and humility, may the body, speech, and mind of the soul of the land of snows, the supreme Lama Son Tenzin Gyatso, be indestructible, unfluctuating, and increase unceasing. May it live immutable for 100 eons, seated on a diamond throne, transcending decay and destructions. You are the jewel heart embodying all compassionate, beneficial deeds. O most courageous one, you carry on your shoulders the burden of all the Buddhas of the infinite realms. May all noble aspirations be fulfilled as intended. By virtue of this, may the heavenly doors of the 14th era open eternally, a source of relief and rest for all beings. May all the special signs reach the apex of existence and release, and the sacred teachings flourish through all times and all realms. May the nectar stream of the always enter our hearts and nourish them with strength. May we please you with offering of dedicated practice. May we reach beyond the shores of perfect compassion deeds through the blessings of the wonders of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the infallible truth of the laws of dependent origination, and by the purity of our fervent aspirations. Hindrance. Okay, let us turn to the dedication prayer, which is on additional dedication prayer, page 294. Page 294. Okay, so the no doubt that we have accumulated so much of merit, both offline, online. We have accumulated, gathered so much merit through taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, and also going through this summary chart of the otherwise, which would take about like 1.5 years. So whatever merit that we gathered, let us pray that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true soul sojourn heavens on this earth, that he lives long, that his wishes will fulfill spontaneously. And also let us pray that through the power of this merit that we gathered today, that all the wars in the world and the domestic violence and all the complications, illnesses, and so forth, the ills, the crisis in the world, the diminish and be mitigated as much as possible, so that everybody can be they take a fresh breath of air of relief and the joy, harmony, and peace. And let us also pray that all the great learning centers of the different Buddhist traditions and all the learning centers of traditions which impart compassion and the universal, the wisdom. May these learning centers, be it Theravada tradition, Chinese tradition, Tibetan tradition, within Tibetan, Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Gelo, all these traditions thrive in the activities of the imparting teaching and imbibing these teachings within oneself to bring about transformation within one's own mind, that the ignorance will be replaced by the full awakened wisdom, and the selfishness will be replaced by the universal compassion. And let me also personally dedicate the message that each one of you, through concerted effort in the practice of the teachings of the conventional Bodhicitta and the ultimate Bodhicitta, I pray that each one of you don't see the dawn of these two Bodhicittas within you, and that you become a reliable guide to lead all human sentient beings towards ultimate happiness. And may the world be filled with the harmony, peace, glory, and the sense of universal inclusivity, embracing each other rather than the exclusivity, which is a poison to destroy the world. So let the world be healed. With this in mind, let us turn to this prayer together. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful, Chenrezig Tenzin Gyaltso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all his merits in the best way, that I may follow the perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appear in the free times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Chan Jo Sem Jo Rembo Je Ma Ge Pa Je Ge Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Yan Ko Ne Kon Do Pe Wa Rai Sho. May the Supreme Bodhicitta, there is not a rest and rise and grow, and may that wishes to rest and not diminish, but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may true remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may Quid attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of three times, and to the beholding of the Dharma of teaching and realization. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect way in the two stages. With the wish for free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. May the poor find wealth, those with big sorrow find joy. May the fallen find new hope, constant happiness, prosperity. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from the illness. And may every disease in the world never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting one another. By the merits I've accumulated, by every single being, abandon all forms of wrongdoing and perpetually engage in virtue. May they never be parted from the mind of Bodhicitta, and may they always engage in the Bodhisattva's conduct. May they be cared for by the Buddhas and relinquish the actions of devils. May no living creature ever suffer, commit wrong, or ever fall ill. No one be afraid or belittled, or their minds ever be depressed. May all the pains of living creatures ride solely upon myself, and through the might of the Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. Having dispelled all inner and outer obstacles and downfalls, such as poverty, despair, oppression, cruelty, epidemics, natural disasters, to the environmental degradation, may all beings forever enjoy the glory of peace and happiness. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to Triple Gem. I confess the negativities. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the breath of the Buddha in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts. May Dhamma and the auspicious proliferate in all the places where we abide. The path of union of emptiness compassion is loosely explained by the perturbed Buddha Dharma that begins to let us know with the lotus hold the Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil and days of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who hereby merit through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of three jewels. But the dependent realization of profound sessions appearance in emptiness, together with the force of great compassion of the three jewels and the power of the truth, and through the virtue of the infallible law of karmas and the fruits, may this truthful prayer of ours be unhindered and quickly fulfilled. May the teaching of this beneficent one till world's end be unshaken by the winds of evil thoughts. May it always be met by innumerable beings who find conviction in the teacher by understanding the teaching's true nature. May never for an instant to uphold the excellent way of the sage, which illuminates the principle of dependent origination to all my births, even giving away my body and life. May I spend all day and night carefully reflecting but what means can enhance this teaching, achieved by the Supreme Savior through the strenuous efforts over countless eons. In all my lives, never separate from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing quality of the stages of the past, may quickly attain the state of Vajratara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings on dependent origins in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, we'll say praise to Buddha Shakyamuni in Tibetan, and then maybe some of you know how to sing this. Just listen to us and then join us. After this, we'll recite the Heart Sutra mantra 3 times. And okay, the Pavani Prakash, you are there. Raise hand. Pavani ji. Wonderful. Thank you for your contribution, enormous contribution. Okay. Togye tuje shage rezo chon shenge meto dege ponjomba seje ubar tama jebe ko shaye gebo ela chazelu o mone mone Mahamona Swaha 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 Eyata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Okay, thank you. So we have now motion to the program coordinator, Chief.
Thank you very much, Venerable Geshe-la. And I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of all the online Zoom participants, as well as our YouTube online viewers, and not the least, our physical participants. I would like to thank Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula for his endless effort and dedication to fulfill the very aspiration of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama by promoting the word of peace and compassion to this world, and also for the very quick overview of the Nalanda summary chart today, and also for disseminating the very Nalanda philosophy which has been introduced by the 17 great Nalanda masters, for which we would like to thank Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula. And with this, I would like to make a special announcement on a very special request from our Venerable Geshe Tenzin Hadula. We are pleased to announce that Tibet House tomorrow on 15 March 2025 from 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula will be giving a teaching on Ume 30 Temba Shide, which is called Rain Shower of Feats, a song of the four mindfulnesses as a guide to the view of the middle way by His Holiness the 7th Dalai Lama, Gyalwang Kyesang Gyatso, in Tibetan, with simultaneous translations in Ladakhi, French, English, which will be live streamed on our Tibet House YouTube channel. With this, we have come to the conclusion of the very evening session of Chotrul Düchen, and I would like to request my colleagues to kindly come forward and distribute the talk to all the physical participants who are present today. And I would also like to inform all the online participants for you to visit Tibet House, and we will be very happy to offer you the talk. And thank you very much. And may I request my colleagues to kindly come forward and distribute the talk. And yeah, before we end this session, I would like to request all of you that we'll offer 3 prostrations, and then we'll end the session. Thank you. I would also like to inform all the physical participants that we have tea and refreshments arranged at the reception area. So I would request all of you to kindly help yourself at the reception. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Tibet House. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Tibet House.
Thank you,
Geshe-la. Thank you, Tibet
Thank
House.
you very
Thank you,
much. Thank you,
everybody.
Geshe-la.
Всем
Thank
большое
you, Geshe-la.
спасибо.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tibet House. Thank you, everyone.